Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News. Fans, no one saw it coming. Not the viewers, not the producers, not even the Golden Mansion's resident cat Tuxedo. But the morning the news broke, the entire Golden Bachelor fandom practically exploded. It all started on a quiet Sunday sunrise when Mel Owens, America's favorite silver-haired charmer, opened his front door to grab the newspaper and found Peg Munson already on his porch, wearing his flannel robe and holding 2 mugs of coffee. The camera crew filming a Where Are They Now mini special froze. Mel froze. Peg, however, simply grinned and lifted her mug like she was toasting the entire universe. "Good morning," she said, sparkling with mischief. "Guess the secret's out." 1 week earlier. Peg hadn't planned it. She just wanted a break from the chaos, a little peace, and, honestly, a little distance from her unexpected feelings. Ever since Fantasy Week, she couldn't stop thinking about Mel, his laugh, his awkward dad jokes, that way he held her hand like it was something precious. But the real twist? Mel felt exactly the same way. The show had ended, the finale aired, and fans assumed both were happily single. But behind the scenes, Mel and Peg kept running into each other. Once at the grocery store, Mel pretended he accidentally pushed his cart into hers. Once at the community center ballroom, he claimed he was just passing by even though it was 40 minutes from his house. And once at a diner where Peg walked in at 7 a.m. and found Mel already in her favorite booth with her favorite order, waiting for her. "I just had a feeling you'd show up," he said, shrugging like this wasn't the most suspiciously adorable ambush of all time. Peg tried to resist, tried to be logical, but Mel Owens' smile was a weapon of mass romantic destruction. Soon, the two were sneaking late-night walks, sharing playlists, and texting each other memes that neither fully understood. Then one evening, under the twinkle lights behind Mel's house, Peg confessed, "I think I'm falling in love with you, and it terrifies me." Mel took her hands, those same soft hands America loved, and whispered, "Peg, I already fell." From that moment, there was no going back. But they wanted it private. For one simple reason. Peg was scared. Not of Mel, never of Mel, but of the world's reaction. The fandom was passionate, dramatic, and obsessed with pairing Mel with other contestants. Would they support her? Would they support them? Mel squeezed her hand and said, "Let's give it time. Just us." So they did. Nights painting together, ice cream on the porch, dancing in the kitchen to 1970s soft rock. They were happy, secretly happy, until the camera crew walked in. Back to that Sunday morning. Peg in Mel's robe, Mel still blinking in shock, the crew jaws on the ground. Peg took a sip of coffee, then asked Mel, loud enough for every microphone to catch it, "Should we just tell them now?" Mel burst out laughing. "Peg, I think we already did." Producers scrambled, fans watching the live feed lost their minds. Twitter turned into a wildfire. Hashtag Mel and Peg, hashtag Golden Bachelor Bombshell, hashtag Secret Romance Confirmed. Within minutes, the clip hit the internet. Peg leaning on Mel's shoulder, Mel looking at her like she was the plot twist he'd waited a lifetime for. Peg shyly whispered, "We didn't mean to hide it. We just needed it to be ours for a little while." Millions of viewers screamed, cried, fainted, screamed again, and immediately began editing fan edits with dramatic violin music. The final bombshell of the bombshell. Hours later, during an emergency livestream, Mel smiled at the camera, then turned to Peg. "Want to tell them the other part?" Peg rolled her eyes. "Oh, fine, but only because they'll find out anyway." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a tiny, shiny key. Mel grinned. "She's moving in." The fandom went feral. Peg winked at the camera. Golden Mansion Season 2? Our kitchen remodel edition? Mel kissed her cheek. Only if I get to pick the backsplash. And that's how the world learned the sweetest secret romance and Golden Bachelor history. Mel and Peg. Unexpected. Adorable. Real. The love story fans never saw coming, but now absolutely can't stop
Golden
screaming
Bachelor
about.
fandom nearly imploded this morning, and it all began with a mysterious ding from Peg Munson's phone. Peg was sitting on her back porch in Fairview, Iowa, sipping her rosehip tea like any perfectly poised Golden Bachelor alum would. But today, she wasn't alone. Mel Owens, yes, that Mel, sat across from her. The man known for his iconic linen suits, his slow blinking charm, and the way he could stir up drama just by breathing. They thought they were alone. They were not. A camera crew, officially there for a Golden Bachelor Where Are They Now follow-up, accidentally captured what will go down as one of the wildest plot twists in franchise history. Peg and Mel weren't just chatting. They were holding hands. Peg's thumb was gently brushing over Mel's knuckles, the kind of move only women in deep trouble or deep love ever make. Then came the moment that made producers gasp, cameramen freeze, and fans later scream so loudly the internet shook. Mel leaned in and whispered, "Peg, it's time we tell them." Peg smiled, slow, radiant, glowing like the sunrise at the final rose ceremony, and said, "Yes, I'm done hiding it." The footage cut to a confessional-style interview where Peg sat in a cozy armchair looking both nervous and thrilled. She took a breath, a deep one, the kind people take before changing their lives. "Okay," she began, voice trembling. "Mel and we're in love." The producer, off camera, "Wait, what?" Peg laughed, flustered but glowing. "We've been seeing each other since the finale reunion. On and off, well, mostly on." Cut to Mel's confessional. He's in his signature denim jacket, trying to hide a smile and failing miserably. "Keeping Peg a secret was the hardest thing I've ever done," he admitted. "I told her I'd wait however long she needed. Turns out, we both were waiting for each other." The internet immediately lost its mind. Comments fired off like fireworks. "I knew it. I could feel the chemistry from space." "Mel and Peg forever. Don't ever talk to me again if you disagree." The Golden Bachelor just became the Golden Soap Opera. But the biggest shock wasn't that they were together. It was how long they'd been hiding it. Turns out, Mel had been driving 2 towns over every Thursday to take a pottery class. Translation, he was taking Peg to a little lakeside diner where they shared peach pie and held hands under the table like teenagers. Peg's neighbors, they thought she suddenly took a strong interest in late-night book club meetings. Yeah, book club. Sure, Peg. Finally, the footage cut back to the porch where Mel reached into his pocket. Peg gasped. Fans screamed. Was it a ring? No, not yet. He pulled out a tiny silver key. "To my place," he said softly. "If, you want it." Peg covered her mouth, tears shining. "Mel Owens, you dramatic man. Of course I want it." They hugged, warm, sweet, full of the kind of love that comes with age, wisdom, and a whole lot of second chances. Cue fireworks, cue fan meltdown, cue producers doing cartwheels behind the scenes. And as the porch faded to black, Peg whispered the words that became the headline heard around the world. "Love isn't about age. It's about timing. And it looks like we finally got ours right."
Peg and Mel's porch footage aired, the Golden Bachelor fandom went volcanic. The hashtag Mel and Peg hit 7 million views in 2 hours, and the clips spread across TikTok like love-soaked wildfire. But the real chaos started when the two were spotted together in the wild. Picture 1, the supermarket scandal.
An elderly woman named Carol Jenkins was wheeling her grocery cart through Dawson's Market when she passed aisle 6 and froze. There, in front of the produce section, Peg was holding a bag of baby spinach. Mel stood behind her, pushing her cart. Pushing her cart! Carol dropped her grapes. "This is not a drill," she reportedly shouted, whipping out her phone. Peg tried to wave her off, but Mel just laughed and offered Carol a grape from the floor. Carol fainted. Paramedics had to be called. She woke up asking, "Did they kiss in the frozen foods aisle?" Later footage confirmed, yes, they did. Picture 2, the car date chaos. Just when fans caught their breath, another video dropped. Mel's vintage blue Buick was spotted parked near Lake Hemmings. A fan zoomed in, and there they were. Peg and Mel inside the car, music playing, windows foggy, silhouettes close. Too close? The comments section combusted. "The fog! I can't breathe." Mel really said, "I ain't too old for passion." "Why are they hotter than all of us?" Someone swore they heard "Can't Help Falling in Love" playing softly from the car. Others swore they heard giggling. No one survived. TV 3, the live interview that changed everything. The producers, sensing the tidal wave of attention, quickly booked Mel and Peg for a special Golden Bachelor interview, hosted by none other than Trina Vale, the queen of emotional ambushes. The interview started sweet, cute, harmless, until Trina leaned forward, eyes sparkling with villain energy, and asked, "So, who said 'I love you' first?" Peg looked at Mel. Mel looked at Peg. Fans held their breath. Peg shook her head dramatically. Mel blushed, the kind of blush that made the internet momentarily stop functioning. She whispered, "Mel did." Gasps, screams, chaos. Mel rubbed the back of his neck. "It slipped out. I didn't mean to say it. Not yet, anyway." Peg corrected him gently. "He said it while I was trying to get a jar of pasta sauce open." Fans howled. Mel shrugged. "She looked cute and determined. It just happened." But then, the biggest bombshell of all, Trina leaned forward again and she asked, "So, are you two exclusive?" Peg and Mel exchanged a look. A long one. A loaded one. Then, Peg slid her hand into Mel's. "We're not just exclusive," she said softly. "We're planning a future." Mel added, "A long one." The studio audience screamed. The live stream chat exploded. Someone in the back fainted again. The final shockwave. At the very end of the interview, when the credits were supposed to roll, Mel turned to Peg. He didn't kneel. He didn't pull out a ring. Instead, he whispered something the mic barely picked up. "Ready to tell them about the next step?" Peg's eyes widened, and she nodded. The screen cut to black. The words flashed. "To be continued tomorrow." The world stopped. The fandom ascended, and absolutely no one slept that night.
Next episode finally dropped. Millions tuned in early. Popcorn ready, blood pressure high, hearts pounding like they were watching a telenovela with their souls. The episode began with dramatic slow-motion shots of roses, lakes, and, for no reason whatsoever, a bald eagle soaring across the sky. The narrator's voice was breathless. Last night, Peg and Mel revealed they are planning a future together. But what comes next may be the biggest twist in Golden Bachelor history. Cut to Mel and Peg sitting on a garden bench, hands linked, hearts practically glowing. Peg took a deep breath. Mel squeezed her knee. Fans leaned in. And then Peg said the words, "We're moving in together." Screaming everywhere. Twitter imploded. TikTok collapsed. YouTube comments grew wings. But Peg wasn't done. "Not just anywhere," she continued. "We bought a house," Mel added. "Together." The audience lost its life. Even the cameraman whisper yelled, No way! The house reveal, chaos level, infinity. Producers wasted 0 seconds. The screen cut to a full-on HGTV-style tour, complete with inspirational music, cozy cardigan vibes, and Mel narrating like a proud suburban husband. The house was perfect. A sunlit kitchen where Peg planned to finally perfect her lemon pie. A porch swing built by Mel himself. "It's where we'll have our evening tea," he said, blushing. A small garden patch Peg insisted on because basil tastes better when you grow it with someone you love. And the part that sent fans into CPR-level shock? A spare room fully decorated for visits. Trina Vale asked the question everyone was screaming. Visits? From whom? Peg and Nell exchanged that look, the one that says, "We know something you don't." Peg smiled. Mel nodded. Then Peg dropped an emotional nuke. "Our families." Mel continued, "We're blending our families, officially." Cut to fans on social media having a full-color meltdown. "They're blending families! This is marriage-adjacent behavior!" Peg said spare room for grandkids, and I screamed. I haven't felt this invested in two people over 60 in my entire life. But then, the real shock dropped. During sunset, the couple stood on their porch holding hands. The interviewer asked, "So, what comes after moving in?" Mel looked at Peg. Peg blushed. Mel swallowed. Fans collectively forgot how to breathe. And then, Mel pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. Not a ring, a tiny gold charm shaped like a rose. He slid it into Peg's hand. "It's not a proposal, not yet, but it's a promise." Peg teared up. The audience sobbed. Someone on TikTok posted a reaction video and immediately hit 2 million views. Peg whispered, "Yes, I'll take every promise you give me." They hugged, camera spinning, music swelling, rose petals falling from somewhere magical, or a production intern with a bucket. The final twist. Just as the episode ended, text appeared. "Next week, a guest from Peg's past returns, and Mel isn't ready." Fandom, what? Who? Why? When? Episode ends. Chaos begins.